Hello everyone, this is Dermot Burns again. You might remember me from Critical Thinking 1. This is the second in our slideshow series, and this is about how we identify arguments as critical thinkers. So there are a few learning outcomes that I've got for you from this unit. The first one is we're going to look at how you can identify an author's position, which means their viewpoint on a subject. Secondly, we'll try and determine the key parts of an argument so that you know exactly what they are. Thirdly, we'll look at what we mean by persuasion, how writers persuade us to agree with them. And finally, we'll describe what a conclusion is when we're thinking about someone's argument and our own argument. So they're the four learning outcomes that we have. This is the outline of what we'll look at. We'll look at the author's position first, argument, reason and persuasion second. We'll identify arguments and conclusions thirdly, and then I'll give you a collaborative activity to do that will help you to understand and learn everything that we cover. So in our introduction to this, we'll think about what's the point. What I mean by that is you have to learn what the point is from somebody else's work so that you can understand the position that they're taking. Critical thinking is about arguing or argument. And if you can spot someone's main argument that they're presenting, you'll be better able to focus on key information and material, and that saves you a lot of time and a lot of energy. One little tip I can give you is people usually tell you their argument in an introduction and or their conclusion of their piece of work. So if you look at those two paragraphs first, you should be able to spot what their key argument is, and that will save you a lot of time and a lot of reading for the future. This unit has some short passages in it which encourage you to practice your critical thinking skills. You'll be asked to judge arguments not on whether you personally agree or disagree, but on whether you think they're rational arguments, good arguments, or irrational arguments, bad or weak arguments. Let's think about the author's position first. Other people's arguments are presented to us whenever we read something, watch television, listen to the radio or have a conversation. People present their arguments, and being able to spot what they are is a really good skill to have. Behind these arguments are people's position or their points of view. Let's have a look at two different positions about the same subject. Position A says, children who are under 7 years of age should not be allowed in restaurants after 7 p.m. Now that is someone's position. Position B is different. Restaurants should be welcoming places for all children to eat and socialise, whatever the time of day. Look how those two positions are so different. They disagree with each other. If we think about the argument of each one, argument in critical thinking can be used in two ways. We have an overall argument, which is the position, like the two we've just read. And these overall arguments are made up of contributing arguments. Another word for that would be reasons. Contributing arguments form what we call a line of reasoning which leads up to the overall argument and the conclusion. For example, if we take the view of position A, which is that children shouldn't be allowed in restaurants after 7 o'clock at night, contributing arguments to that could be children make too much noise and they disturb the peace for the other diners. Adults who are dining may have children of their own who they've left at home with a babysitter. This may be their only chance for a night off away from their own children, and they don't want to spend time in other children's company when they're having their own free time. Children don't know the rules of behaviour and etiquette in restaurants, and this can cause stress for their parents, the waiting staff and other diners. And finally, children who are 7 years of age should be in bed by 7 o'clock, not out socialising in restaurants. So they're all contributing arguments that lead to the position A, that children shouldn't be allowed in restaurants after 7. On the other hand, we have a different line of reasoning. If we take the different position that restaurants should be welcoming places for all children to eat and socialise, then we can see the alternative arguments that contribute to that. For example, A. Discriminating against people because of their age is unfair. Old age pensioners are allowed in restaurants, why not young children? B. How will children learn to behave appropriately in restaurants if they're not able to practice these skills in them? C. Restaurants are places where parents have opportunities to teach children vital social skills and manners. D. Not all children are the same. It's unfair to ban all children who are aged under 7 from restaurants. Some adults behave inappropriately too. And E. Restaurants can't afford to lose valuable custom by excluding certain groups from their premises. Can you see that those 5 arguments contribute towards the conclusion that children should be allowed in restaurants after 7? So an overall argument has a set of contributing arguments that support it. Understanding the author's position then is crucial to critical thinking. You can have a go yourself. The next activity is taken from Stella Cottrell's book Critical Thinking Skills. What you have to do is read through the passage on the next slide, try and identify the author's